Good afternoon, good morning, and good night, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Empower Hour. I am your hostess, Isabel Starck. So I'm just going to be touching in here, making sure that everything is working properly. We have a special guest joining us today, so I'm very excited to have her on in just a few minutes. But let me just make sure I have this Q&A open. There we go. So welcome, wonderful to have you all here. I hope you all have your water. I know I had to refill mine. I do tend to get a little dry mouth, you know? That's just what happens when you speak to the camera, nonstop. So yeah, first of all, really welcome. I'm really excited to have you here. As I mentioned, we have a special guest who's coming to us from Calgary. And she's actually a colleague of mine. Her and I are in a certification course together. And I'm sure you've probably already read the description about her and what it is that she's coming to do. So once she arrives, I will give her a proper introduction. And until that, I'm just going to make sure that she's invited properly to make sure that she can actually join. So forgive me as I do a quick invitation here. Just make sure this one is working. Sorry. There we go. Just needed to check that. Okay, perfect. She's invited. Invite people. Google link. Just do a quick copy. Thank you guys all for joining. Bit late if needed. I know that everybody's coming in from different time zones, and 12 o'clock noon, you know, right on the button. Just wanted for those of you who are actually YouTube, kind of if you'd like to join the conversation, I would like to direct you, pardon me, to direct you how to actually join the conversation. So if you're watching through YouTube, what you'll need to do is you'll need to press the bar here at the bottom that says join the conversation. Once you select that, you'll actually be taken to another window. It'll open up, and it's actually the Google Plus window, which is here live. And what happens there is you actually can interact with us live and ask questions. So all you need to do is press the buttons here or here. There's 9 little squares, so they're the Google buttons. So if you hover your mouse over that, a Q&A app will actually pop up, and all you have to do is select that. Once it's selected, a panel will open up on this side or this side, depending on how the screen is. So it'll actually show up on your side, and you can type in your question live. We will actually answer it, and either myself or Julia. So if you have any questions about health or fitness, please bring those in. As she arrives, we will go ahead and address those. She will be arriving a bit late, which gives me a little bit of chance to chat with you, kind of connect, and give you a little bit of reflection about what's been happening in the last week. So again, welcome. My name is Isabel Starck, and I'm your hostess for the Empower Hour. I am a business and empowerment coach, and I help people actually get out of their blocks in their business. So we all experience blocks, whether they're personal or in business, and oftentimes they're almost like a subconscious block. You're not even aware of what it is. And I'm very familiar with that because I was also in those shoes. So what I've done is actually, you know, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I also work with a coach who assists me in actually facilitating through these blocks. So that's exactly what I do with my clients, and I'm really excited to do that with you if you would so be interested in doing so. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to be going on today. So as I mentioned, we're going to be interviewing Julia Evans, transformational and body coach, and we are going to be announcing a winner to the coaching sessions that I gave away in my Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group. The reason I actually launched that was we had reached 1,500 members in under, I think it's 6 months. in my group, and it's a great group. I really love the girls in there. You know, obviously not all 1,500 are active. There's no way that could happen, but a majority are. And it's about building the community and really having a space for us all to really be at and be ourselves, ask questions, and really engage. It's really created a great community, and I'm really happy, and I wanted to give back and actually celebrate them for joining on. So what I did is I gave away some, and what I asked of the ladies who were going to participate is I asked them all to submit a short video and just letting me know what it is that they were most struggling with. So what problems they were having, either in their business or their life. And basically I put names into a hat, because there's no way that you can say, oh, this one's better than that, or this one's better than that. So I did select one winner, and the winner will be announced a little bit later in the show. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. That'll be coming to you guys live here today. And the other great and exciting news I have for you is the fact of the launch for my official launch of my website. So my website has actually been under construction for quite some time. I actually took a jab at it myself, and I thought, okay, yeah, I could do this. And I just wanted too many customizations done, things that I was not able to do. So therefore, it's been being worked on. And finally, this week, I'm really happy to announce the fact that it's live and it's up and it's working. And actually, even this video that you're watching right now is being streamed live on my website. So I will be sharing that link with you guys later on my Facebook page, through my business page. You can always find it there through the homepage. And also in obviously the feminine, Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur Group. So look for that soon. If you would like to head on over to the website and just kind of take a look around, I'm happy to receive any questions that you might have. There's a really cool way to ask a question to me directly. There's obviously typing an email, and those come directly to me. They're all confidential. And the other way to actually request information or to ask me a question is to record a video. And it's very easy to do. All you do is you go to isabelstarck.com/askisabel. And it'll take you directly to a page where you can either type in your question or you can record your question, and it immediately sends it to me. I do respond to emails. My aim is about 2 days, so 48 hours, but I will definitely get to you as soon as possible. So my website is actually just how my name is spelled down here, isabelstarck.com. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know, please share some comments. And leave a message. You know, I really love hearing from the people out there I'm ready to serve. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys. All right, so I'm just going to check in on the time here. I want to make sure that everybody is connected proper. I've already sent out her invitation, and as soon as she logs in, Julia, our interviewee, I'll be introducing her. If you have joined the conversation and would like to interact, ask a question, the way to do that is this way. So first of all, if you're watching through YouTube, you'll have to select the square down here at the bottom that says join the conversation. That'll in turn take you into another window, which is a Google Plus window. That's where we are here live. And by pressing the Google Plus, you will actually see either on this square, this area, or in this area, 9 squares that if you hover over, 2 apps will open up, the Showcase app and the Q&A app. Click on the Q&A app, and that allows you to ask a question and receive an answer. A side panel on this side or this side will actually open up, type in your question, and we'll be able to read it here live. So please ask your questions. If there's anything pertaining to health and fitness that I'm going to be asking Julia, I'm happy to actually save those. It's a really handy little app, so I can save them and answer them when she arrives. So please feel free to ask any questions that you have. All right, so excuse me while I take my drinks, right? I need to keep my throat nice and moist. Wonderful. So what do I want to share with you today? I'm going to share with you something that I wrote about yesterday in my newsletter. And it has to do with gratitude. Gratitude is something that came up in a recent coaching session of mine. And what I realized is the ability for us to give gratitude, to be thankful for, to ask for graciousness, to just really give thanks to others for everything that they do. You know, you can give it to God for just providing us this life, and Mother Nature, and, you know, for our husbands and for our children and for our health. And it's very easy to give gratitude. But what I realized is how difficult it is to actually receive it. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about actually receiving gratitude from someone else? Think about an example such as somebody pays you a compliment. And what do you say? Do you immediately go into, oh, it's nothing. It's a 10-year-old dress. Oh, no big deal. Oh, this old thing. You know, really pay attention to how you respond. I know for myself personally, I had to consciously make an effort to be able to receive, you know, thank yous or compliments. And I have a feeling that that's really, I mean, I see it a lot, and I think it's very common, especially with women, just to be able to receive. I think men are always thanked, you know, or thank you for this gift and thank you for that gift. And they're probably used to it. Like, yeah, you're welcome, you're welcome. But for us women, it's really difficult to be on the other side and saying, oh, you're thanking me for doing what I just know how to do naturally? Okay, yeah, you're welcome. So what I want to touch on here is the fact that by us not allowing ourselves to receive their gratitude, we take something away from them. And I'll go back to when you give gratitude. So when you thank God, when you pray, when you thank your husband for bringing home, you know, takeout because you really didn't feel like cooking, you know, how does that make you feel when they actually can just say, you're welcome, and receive it? You know, there is this exchange of energy that happens. And this is really what came up in the coaching session, is the fact that energy is recirculated. And for the amount of energy that we actually put out, which is being, you know, gracious for and grateful for the things that we are grateful for, and expressing that, the equal amount needs to actually come in. So it's a circular flow, coming in, going out, coming in, going out. And for myself, I have to say, it was during my run that this was coming up. You know, it came up in my coaching session, then it started coming up again in my run, and I just really was paying attention to it and how it was difficult for me to really receive somebody being grateful for what it is that I did. Now, it could be something so little. The two models that came to mind, obviously my son and my husband. And my son, every time I go to pick him up from school, every single day, he looks at me, he runs, he hugs me, and he says, Mama came back. Mama came back. It's like, and he's so grateful for the fact that I actually came back to pick him up. Now, of course, I'm always going to pick him up, either myself or my husband, but, you know, I'm always there. And for that moment of time that I'm away from him for those hours, and then when I actually come back and he can just be so grateful and really reach out and hug me and just be like, thank you, Mama. For me to allow him to just give that to me and for me to accept it, there's this energy flow and you can feel it. Like literally, I really paid attention the next time I went to go pick him up as to how I could feel the sensations of, it's almost warmth. I mean, you really feel this kinetic energy kind of moving through you. And it's just beautiful. It almost like brings a tear to my eye. I mean, it does, but I'm not gonna bawl here right now. But it's really moving when you can be so present and in the moment and realize that, you know, you're allowing this little person to really be grateful for what it is that you do for them, And you can just accept that and really give it back, because it's in the giving that we receive, but it's also in the receiving that we're able to give. So I'd love to hear from any of you guys if you had any experiences, or if you can maybe think back to a time where you were being grateful and you had a difficult time maybe receiving gratefulness from anybody else. So it's just something for you to think about. Happy to answer any questions that you might have about it here, or even in the group, down the road. I'm not going to put any pressure on you for right now. But if you had any kind of experience like that and would like to share, I'd love to share it with the group, because I think it's important, and it's powerful, and it's really connecting to be able to be in touch with that gratitude. And it's really what makes everything just happen and be. Just be yourself, be gracious, and receive that grace from others. So that's my share today. That's what's actually been on my mind, and I'm really happy that you allowed me to share this with you today. Thank you very much. I'm just looking at the time and seeing if Julia's coming on. She had a previous appointment, so she's going to be joining us a little bit late. But for those of you who have joined a little bit late and you would like to join the conversation, I'd like to tell you how. If you're watching through YouTube, you'll see a bottom button here that says join the conversation. So all you have to do is click on that. Another window will open up. It's the Google Plus window. Once you get there, you'll see 9 squares either in this area of the screen or this area of the screen. Hover over that and select the Q&A app. Once you select that Q&A app, a side panel will open up. Type in your question there and hit enter, and it'll actually appear here on my screen, and I will select the questions to answer. So if you have any questions or even comments, about the gratitude share that I was just telling you about, or if you have any questions that are upcoming for our interviewee, Julia Evans, please type them in now, and I will be cycling through those once she comes in. So thank you. It's very dry lately, very strange for a Toronto summer. Excuse me. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick check and make sure that Julia is actually connected proper. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys were actually on last week. We did a full-on Periscope throughout the whole show. It was a very long show, so took up all my space on my phone. Have to rethink how I'm going to do that in the future. So looking up here, all right, so we see Julia is actually so I mentioned to you guys a little bit earlier for Julia. Perfect. All right, thank you guys very much. I will take a look at that when she joins us, and she will be joining us shortly. Thank you. All right. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you came on late, I am today really launching my website officially. It's been live for a little while, but I haven't really shared it with anybody. But it's a great website. I'm really excited to launch it. I just, yeah, there's nothing like actually being live and in person and being able to touch people around the world with your message. I've really noticed how I've been able to bring a great community together of women in our Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group. And just knowing that you have a place for them to come and to share and to be, it's pretty amazing and pretty wonderful. So I hope if you haven't joined our Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group, that you can look us up on Facebook. So we're on Facebook groups. So it's facebook.com/groups/fiercefemmefab. And we'd be happy to have you there. It's a great community of over 1,500 women. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I did a little celebration for our 1,500th member, and I ran a little contest. And I'm going to be announcing today on the show the winner of that contest. And the winner of the contest was actually, let me tell you about the contest. The contest is actually to receive free coaching from me. So it's a 2-week coaching session, and the the people who actually applied needed to send in a short video sharing with me what it is that they wish to accomplish most in their life and what it is that they were having struggles with currently. So I'm really excited to announce the winner, and I'm probably going to wait for Julia when she comes on. Then I'll probably go ahead and do a big announcement, and then we can get started with her interview. So wonderful. I see a couple questions coming in. Okay, one of them says for Julia. I'm just going to read over here for a sec. Perfect. So these questions are actually for Julia. I'm going to save them, so I will get back to them shortly. All right. So let's see. Lunch. All right. So we've talked a little bit about gratitude. We've talked about the website launch. We talked about announcing the grand winner for the celebration time event that I put on recently. So looking forward to announcing that. Really excited to have you guys here. If you do have any questions, like I said, regarding health and fitness, please do add those in so that I can address them to Julia once she joins in, and she will be joining us pretty soon. So I'm just looking over here. Oop. Making sure I'm not getting missing any messages from her. We've been having some difficulties connecting with our participants in the interview stream, so I just want to make sure that everything is going good there. Forgive me as I look over to the other screen. All right. Looking like things are coming along well. All right, so let's see. What else has been going on? Well, another thing that I've actually launched within the Fiercely Feminine group is the introduction of feature days. And the reason for feature days actually had to do more with the fact of engaging women and giving them an opportunity. Oh, that's what happened. Sorry, I just had to look up to automatic updates happen. So when you have automatic updates installed and activated on your computer, things can just crash and they start updating. So forewarned, be forewarned. Can't keep them all straight. So as I was mentioning, with Fiercely Feminine, I've introduced feature days. And feature days is just really to kind of get you asking questions, get you involved with the community, and just really finding out, how it is that you can help and how it is that you can actually receive help. Yesterday was a really, really fun day. It was called Travel Tuesday, and we shared places that we've either been before or places that we are planning to go. So kind of maybe our bucket list. So we had a number of great images. I shared some images from a trip to Venice that I took my father on. Another young lady shared images from her trip to Dubai, and yeah, just various information that came in, and it's just really great to share. Today is all about Writing Wednesday, and as I quickly glance down, I actually see that we are joined by Julia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Good, great to see you, and thank you for having me. Let me know if you're just wrapping up a point, and then yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
interrupt there.
Yeah, well, actually, we've been waiting for you. We already have a couple questions that are waiting for you here as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you all for being here. As I mentioned, if you would like to ask a question live here on the show today, all you'll need to do is, if you're watching through YouTube, select the bar here that says Join the Conversation. That'll open up another window, take you to the Google Plus screen. And once you get there, you'll press on the 9 squares either in this area or this area here. Just hover over, select the Q&A app, and a side panel will open up. Type in your question there, and I will go ahead and address it to the proper parties. If you are watching mobily, just so you know, if you are watching mobily, you cannot join the conversation, not as of yet. So software hasn't gotten to the point where you can ask a question on your mobile device, so you will need to be connected through your desktop. But thanks again. There were some people who actually asked some questions before ahead of time, so I do have a few listed here that we can
Great.
do it. Yeah.
Let's jump right in. Why don't you ask me? Let's go.
Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce you. I haven't done that.
Okay.
So first of all, Julia, as I mentioned before, Julia and I are both in the certification program, and that's where we met. So we are colleagues, and you know, we had some time to spend together. She's a great gal. She lives in Canada. I'm here in Toronto. She's in Calgary, and there was just a really nice feeling that we got for each other, nice energy exchange. So Julia, professionally, she is actually a body transformation and life coach. And she specializes in coaching women to build their dream bodies so they can experience more happiness, fulfillment, and vitality every single day.
That's right.
Yeah. So she's also an active fitness model and knows what it takes to stay fit for the lens. Yeah.
Thank you.
Julia also is an ambassador for the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur Monthly business building socials that we have. So she hosts there in her hometown of Calgary. And in the past, she was also a FFE tip contributor, where she was telling us each Friday about tips, you know, to stay healthy, keep lean, and it was actually called Fit and Fabulous Fridays, if I'm remembering
Correct.
right.
Yeah, really fun having that engagement and that opportunity to share and give some tips for sure.
So that's a little bit about Julia. I'll actually allow her to elaborate a little bit more on that. And then, like I said, I have a few asks that were previously sent in, and then we can get started. So Julia, is there anything that I missed that you would like to tell the audience about?
Well, you did such a great intro. And no, I mean, just that, yes, I'm now coaching. I'm very passionate about what I do. I feel very blessed to have found my calling. I feel like there's a lot of bumps like along the way to get to where I am today, and just letting the people joining today know that if they truly have a passion or a desire that hasn't unfolded for them yet or manifested in their life, that is possible for them as well. And I'm living proof of that. Being where I am today as a coach.
There are. Yeah, when did your coaching journey begin? Would you like to share that with the readers?
Sure, yeah.
The listeners, I'm sorry.
I really would like to say, like, my coaching journey began when I had hired my first coach. I had a wonderful woman in my life. Her name was Eva Sethkova, and still a good friend of mine. She guided me through my first fitness competition, and that really allowed me to understand and see how wonderful coaching can be, and inspired me to take that leap of getting certified and becoming a coach. And I've been actively coaching people for over a year now in my own coaching practice. And that's how it began. And really getting like my first client through the door, I would say, was a year and a half ago. And I started very much so with doing nutrition coaching, starting with what I knew. And now I'm really incorporating the body-mind connection and not just leaving, like, I think the key pieces is treating the whole body as well as what's going on up here is really key, and our beliefs and thoughts that are going through our mind daily. So I like to talk about that in my sessions with my clients as well.
So would you say that's actually what inspired you to become a transformational life coach? I mean, that you actually had the experience with your coach and you thought, okay, this is what I want to do or what I'm meant for.
Definitely. I definitely think that's a big part of it. And I think what I noticed doing my first fitness competition, what I felt set me apart from a lot of the other fitness models on stage, what I noticed was kind of the flurry of excitement backstage and a lot of the different comments that were coming out, or, you know, these women had worked so hard and all looked amazing, saying like, does this look right? How does my, you know, how does this area look? Do I look fat like in this angle? And I almost felt sad in that moment to see these beautiful women like talking about themselves in this way, or like maybe viewing themselves like I'm seeing these strong, beautiful women in front of me. Yet that's not what I was hearing or what was coming out and being relayed in conversation. So I think just realizing what a need there is for women to feel empowered and to like build a loving relationship with their body was a huge piece that was missing in this sort of integral piece of wellness coaching. So that's how I have journeyed to develop the type of programs I have. And I felt inspired to also include that piece. I think it's so important for women to build a beautiful, beautiful relationship with themselves and their body and their thoughts, and nurturing themselves and loving themselves, I believe, is where a lot of transformation comes from and can happen and have that longevity of weight loss versus this yo-yo like up and down, and essentially could throw women off is more the mindset, I think, than anything.
So tell me a little bit, I mean, you've developed a program for yourself, and just tell me about your unique way of working with women.
I might ask you to repeat that. I'm not sure if I heard the end of the question there.
Just asking, I'm certain that you've actually developed a certain program for yourself as to actually what works, and just want to unique approaches, because there's so many health coaches.
Yeah.
What's unique to you to help you women?
I really think that my unique approach is not dieting. So, for example, a lot of women that come to me are like, "You really want me to eat that much?" It's almost like shocking. They're like, "I've never eaten this much in my life." And so my approach is whole foods, really balanced. A lot of women that have, taken the program that I've developed or like worked with me would know it's all about balancing the meals. So really getting the blood sugar under control. So then the women are not, like my clients are not experiencing those like cravings as much, and then really working on like the emotional eating. So that would be the unique approach that I would have, is nourishing the body and listening to your body as well, and eating more, like eating the foods that will create a lean body and that longevity. So it's not about dieting, restricting. That's not my approach whatsoever.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about diet. I actually hired a personal trainer at one point, and when he expressed to me how much he wanted me to eat, I couldn't do it. I really tried. And, I think 3/4 meal, I couldn't eat it. He wanted me to eat every 2 hours.
You're like, what is this? Well, that's just it. You like will naturally increase our metabolism. You know, for the women out there, the women that might be listening right now that say are like skipping breakfast, that's one of the key things that's like, I get my clients back on board with like, okay, what can we have for breakfast that's convenient? Have a smoothie, something. You know, that's going to definitely get their metabolism going. So it's also like what your trainer was having you do is really fine tune your body for, you know, building this lean machine and like that's going to burn calories all day long.
Yeah.
So
optimal. Yeah. And it was really tough. I mean, I definitely fell off the wagon, but I do have a health plan, especially now with my little guy. It makes it much easier to make sure that I'm focused on serving him a breakfast.
So the both of you can be eating at the same time, and he's going to want a snack all day too, so I could imagine having that prepared too is important.
Yeah, meal prep. Meal prep's like a whole nother episode, and I have an idea of who I'm actually going to bring on for that. There's somebody who, you know, she's a mutual friend of both of ours. It's launching a new product, so I'm going to talk.
Awesome. I think I know who that is. Very exciting. Well, I will be tuning in for that.
Wonderful. So, I mean, beyond your diet, you know, I mean, obviously you have a certain level of success that you want to achieve with your clients. I mean, you want to achieve for yourself, but also for your clients. So I would just like to know from you, in your word, what does success mean to you?
So what is the best thing to do?
No, what is success?
Oh, success. Well, success to me, I would almost define it as someone that really is following their passion and someone that has the courage to follow what that is, that inner burning desire inside, even if it means like someone or your family might not approve, or perhaps society might think it's a little wonky, I think that person that is going to really have the courage to step out and be like, you know, this is my life and I'm going to create what I desire, you know, being that it's not harming anyone else, of course, and that it's supportive to the rest of, you know, their community. I think that's really success to me, as someone that is living out their passions and someone that's enjoying life and giving back to community. I think is huge. And success for me, I think, would be a, you know, a bit lonely if I wasn't including, you know, my community and people like yourself and my family and my friends along the path and along the journey, and sharing, you know, nothing that I'm doing and none of my rituals are like secret to me. I'm always sharing them with others because I want to bring others along with me. And that's something that really excites me about success, is like finding the key, like the slight edge that keeps me going every day, and then sharing that with my clients. Like I experiment on myself all the time, and then I'm like, for what works, and the, you know, the decade or like the past 10 years of trying different systems and affirmations and personal development books, those are all the tools now that I share with my clients.
I love hearing
I've
you
done a
say
lot of the,
I love
yeah.
There's actually, I haven't read the book, but a friend of mine told me about the guinea pig diary.
Oh, okay, I haven't heard of it.
So it's basically
Yeah, I feel,
things that on yourself first, and you know, so
yeah,
you can share them with others.
totally. Yeah, like for example, I had a client I just put on a cleanse, and it's a new cleanse, but I thought would really serve this client of mine. But I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go out, and I just finished the cleanse myself because I didn't want to recommend it and be like, well, you should do this, but I haven't done it. So I would never recommend something to one of my clients that I haven't personally done myself, and I haven't experienced myself. So, you know, I've been there, I've done the food prep myself. You know, I have the expectation of my clients that they're going to make time for preparing the right foods as well and doing those things. So I'm not back here grabbing fast food or doing those other things, and then expecting my clients to do something different. I'm doing the same thing.
I think this is actually a good place to ask the question from one of our readers that sent it in, was because they knew obviously you were a fitness model because it was in the description, so they just wanted to know, how do you stay inspired? How do you stay inspired with your fitness, especially with the demands of being a fitness model?
I would say a couple of key pieces for staying inspired is, you know, for the times where I say have been less inspired, having an accountability buddy or a workout partner, or for some people that's a coach. But I've been really lucky to have girlfriends in my life where I've even like called a girlfriend outside the gym one time when I was like, I do not feel like working out today. I just need to get in the gym. Like I knew I need to get in the gym, but I was sitting in the car and I'm like, I'm just gonna call a friend. Like having like those lifelines and those people that can, you know, give you a kick in the butt when you need it. And then also setting goals. Setting goals is huge. So for example, if I didn't know, you know, I was going to do a fitness competition, or if I didn't plan ahead or have a specific goal to run, you know, a race or whatever that might be, I may not have the purpose or the drive behind, well, why am I working out so hard? Like what's the point in this? It's really getting back to your why and like having a goal. So I'd say, you know, I love from the program that we're in through the academy, like setting 90-day goals. I encourage my clients to also have a goal set. So, you know, for some clients it might look like they want to run 5K without you know, being completely winded, or whatever that might be, just having these incremental goals where you can build and build and build. So I kind of feel like I might be rambling slightly, but that's definitely some of the pieces that have allowed me to stay on track with that. And I think also I want to mention, like the more like the healthier we get and the more in tune we are with our food and our bodies, those now it's like breathing to me is like eating clean, and exercising. Like exercising to me is like brushing my teeth. If I don't do it now, I don't feel like I'm not on my game as much. My energy is not as high. So now it's like I love doing it.
So do you incorporate any cheat days?
Pardon?
Do you incorporate any cheat days? Like, do you allow yourself some cookies and ice cream?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I do. I love the 80-20 rule. of doing like, let's eat 80% clean and healthful, and I'm not even saying the other 20% is bad, and I get away actually from calling it cheat meals. For my clients, I'll be like, hey, let's have a flex meal, because sometimes I want to remove that, like that sort of sense of guilt or shame around food. And so I tell my clients, I'm like, if you're going out for that burger with your boyfriend on Saturday, I'm like, enjoy it, know you've earned it, and enjoy that, because there's nothing worse than like, I'm going to eat this now, and then beating yourself up about it for the next week. I'm like, that's not good for anybody.
I totally agree.
So I do allow myself, like, I think one of my girlfriends might even be on the call right now, Magda, a good girlfriend of mine, and her and I like were out eating ice cream just the other day. I mean, there's like this soft serve place in our city that's absolutely amazing, and yeah, I do have a sweet tooth, and I do definitely indulge, and I have a really good balance of enjoying some chocolate. So yeah, I do. I think you might have froze a little there. I'm not sure if you can still hear me.
You really think about it. Talking about the Pareto penny rule, it's really nice to see how you have healthful eating. With that, I actually want to pop over because I think 18 minutes left to go. So I'm going to pop over to the chat box that we have here.
Okay.
Comes from, so Valerie, I hope you're still on. Verbatim. What is the best way to stay motivated in your workouts? Which we kind of answered a little bit. But is it so hard? Is it so hard after working all day to keep up with the motivation and run to the gym? Also, how do you set the boundaries up with clients to help them that you will not be available during that time?
Okay. So maybe what I'll do is sort of chunk it down and like answer the first part and then get you to repeat the second part. So first part was how to stay, I believe, motivated with fitness, and then balancing like working a full day and then still getting your fitness in.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm assuming it's like to do with like energy levels and like keeping those up, as well as the motivation. I believe it's in the planning. It's really in the planning. Like, it's not good enough, say, for me necessarily to be like, okay, I will do my best to work out 4 times this week. I will actually chart out, and I know when I'm going to be doing fitness. So I know, for example, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday is like a resistance training day for me. And then I have a couple flexible days in there where I know, like, over the weekend, it could be the Saturday or Sunday, but I'm going to get some sort of yoga or more like interval training in. And so I think part of like the motivation and part of the success of having consistent fitness, I believe, is in the planning and is in setting yourself up for success. So having the schedule, writing it down, making it like a non-negotiable, but then also knowing that sometimes our schedule, like, we can have a wrench thrown into our day. And so this is not necessarily something I'd recommend all the time, but so for Monday, for example, this week, I had some clients cancel, and I was sort of managing my schedule with a crazy day. Normally I work out over lunch. It didn't happen. I didn't get home till 10:30, but I still went and trained, like, at night. So let me tell you, I did not feel like going to the gym, but it's the sense of pride knowing, like, I went, I still got it done. It's almost like if you have an exam or something you have to study for, like, you're going to get that done. Like, making your health that sort of priority as you would like your job. Like, this is so important for you, and like, this is your time to give back to you. So I'll take that time and map it out. And then for like the motivation, maybe even creating, like, this might sound interesting to some people, but like a vision board, some empowering statements that you can sort of visually see daily. I've done vision boarding before too, where like I'll cut out inspiring women, or maybe like my ideal body, or the strong body I want to create. and having that as a visual every day. So you're seeing that as you leave the house and you're knowing your why again. So anchoring in. Those would be a couple tips.
It really sounds like mindset has a lot to do with it, because the mindset, if it's already preset, you know it's going to actually allow you to take the step and get into the car and actually drive to the gym at 10:30 at night. Because even just planning it, we all know that there's been things on our to-do list that we don't check off.
Totally. And I mean, for this particular question too, I'd love to add that even creating like a really great power statement around something that could sound like, I now take daily action towards creating a strong, healthy body, or I now choose whole organic foods that nourish my body every day, and every way I'm getting stronger and stronger, or something that can start shifting like up here, and then the action's going to start moving towards that. I find I have daily affirmations that I do, and one is actually around my health, and it'll change and ebb and flow depending on where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I just want to have you repeat the second part of that question, if you will.
And so far, Valerie actually is still online, so she does say thanks for those tips.
You're very welcome.
The question is, how do you set the boundary up with clients to tell them that you will not be available during that time?
Okay, so how do I set my own personal boundaries with clients about availability?
Mm-hmm.
So what I love to, so for example, I started with a new client today. I was literally just ending a coaching call before I jumped on. And with my new clients, I think it's very important to set boundaries and guidelines in their first session. So I actually lay out a blueprint with my clients in their first session. So I'll let them know like expectations, what I'm available for, and what to expect. So I think that's really key. I actually, as a new coach, wasn't doing that in the beginning. And I'm like, why aren't my clients submitting their food logs? Like, why aren't my clients following through? Like, this was like earlier on. And now that I do this key piece about boundary setting for the relationship, it's been awesome. So that's a big piece. And I do have myself available for text messages and emails and questions. So, perhaps
so you can be an accountability partner when your client's at the gym going, I'm parked here, but I don't want to go in.
Hey, yeah, so I mean, it may be different. It's Valerie, correct? It may be different. Yes. It may be different for like where she's at. I'm not saying that like other coaches should, be available for text messaging and things like that. I love that though. Like I love hearing from my clients, and I love hearing like, hey, I just had an awesome workout, or hey, I'm struggling over here, and this chocolate cake is talking to me, or whatever it is. Then I can support them in the moment if I'm available. But knowing if it's like more of, I'll let them know if there's a ton of questions. I'll be like, those are great questions. I think we can cover them more in depth in your session on Wednesday. Like, I'll just let them know. Yeah.
That's really, really great tips. And I think really setting up that relationship from the beginning and the get-go really does help. So thank you, Valerie, for asking those questions.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, really good. I actually have a few questions I think I mentioned to you before that I ask all my guests. A couple of them are fun. Actually, one of them that's really fun is to kind of know you a little bit better. I would love to know, because we all have them. I would love to know what fear, what's one of your biggest fears that you've actually overcome? Can I share that with you?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to answer that. I'm just like, I already had thought about it. Definitely one for me, and my friends get surprised by this often, is public speaking. Like, it's something in the past I've like avoided. I was like, no way. I mean, I'm talking like I'd be like sweating, like clammy hands. I had several friends like years and years ago ask me to be the MC at their wedding, because they're like, Julia, you're so outgoing. Like, I'd love for you to do this for me. And I was like, I'm so honored, but definitely not. So what I've done since then, I was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this fear like glooming over me. So I just started going to Toastmasters. So it's almost like a personal development like program where you can sign up with people in your community, and you have weekly sessions where you can go and have the opportunity to have speaking roles and give speeches. And I've given one speech so far, and then the other speeches will gradually, progressively get more challenging.
And do they
And
critique
so,
you during these Toastmasters?
pardon?
Do they critique you?
Definitely, yeah, it's all about feedback. So I've critiqued before where someone gives a speech and I can let them know this was really powerful, the way you structured this in the body of your speech, and then here's some points for improvement. So it's instant feedback. And it's realizing I did my first speech recently and I remember being like nauseous like the week leading up to it. So just letting everyone else know, like it was not natural for me also to like be on stage and do like this, you know, fitness competition or like fitness modeling and stuff like that. It's really me stepping up and being like, I'm not available to be living my life in fear and like waiting, just knowing that there's tools and there's support systems out there for whatever fear you might have or that might be like paralyzing you in your life. And I wasn't going to allow that to like I wasn't going to allow that to stop me from pursuing my dreams and my goals, because I know that public speaking is going to be a big part of what I do.
Oh, I think we did.
Did you lose me there for a second?
No, I was saying that yeah, I did. I think I froze as well on the screen. No, I was just saying that that's actually the voice of an empowered woman. You know, I loved how you said that you're not available for that fear to kind of overtake you anymore. So
yeah.
you share that.
So I think it's just getting that moment of courage and jumping into whatever that fear might be. Like, you know, I have one of my sisters that was very fearful of flying, and she recently decided to face that fear, and I'm really proud of her. So I know other people have different fears, but it's getting the support needed, or just being done with being afraid of something. Not saying that it's going to go away completely, that fear, but it can definitely get more manageable. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see. We actually covered a lot of the other questions that I did have for you, but there's only 5 top ones. Actually, one of them will probably really help your listeners, and that's the fact of what tools you incorporate to get everything done. You know, your workouts, your work, how do you manage that?
Yeah, that's definitely an important one to cover, given how crazy some people's schedules can be. And I would say for me, the tools that I use would be my calendar, for sure. I know that seems like a basic one, but I love color coding. Like, that really helps me with like the level of organization that I require to do all the things that I do. So I know that I'll prioritize my calendar in various colors, like, you know, red being like urgent, or having like a task list. So also kind of touching a little bit on that support again, like I have a partner that I meet with, like, I should just say who it is. It's my boyfriend. I'm like, I have this partner slash boyfriend who we have a mastermind every week. And I think that that really helps me. It's an interesting tool that I've incorporated, in that we'll sit down and like carve out our week before it happens. So on a Sunday, take 30 minutes, and he's actually amazing at organization. He's taught me to make a list, and then kind of separate the list on like what is actually urgent, what needs to get done, and what can wait, and then inserting that into my calendar. Because I find if you're not managing your time, it's going to manage you and it's going to throw you for a loop. So if it's not in your calendar, I tell my clients it's probably not going to get done, or it'll just go under the radar. So getting those things down on paper and inserting them in your calendar is going to be a big, big game changer.
Awesome. When you said the quadrant, or when you said urgent, I am very familiar with Stephen Covey's work, and I learned that years ago. And it really, really does work. I mean, there's urgent, there's not urgent, there's important, not important. Once you can define them all, you can have a place in your calendar to get done.
Exactly. And I think in that program, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's even urgent, not important. Do you know where someone's like
Yep.
urgently wanting something from you, but it's like this is actually not like a priority right now, because sometimes
Or
that
can
can
be done.
happen as well. It could be done a
Yes.
little later. It's someone else's
Yes.
emergency.
A little quadrant like that. So you get to choose, you know, urgent and important and not important and not urgent. So
Yeah, and then for the
yeah.
ladies listening, if I also live by, sometimes I have things thrown my way, like for example, real quick, like I have an agent where he'll send me modeling jobs sometimes, and recently I've been passing them up because I'm like, what really helps me is knowing my chief aim, what I want to create in my life, and if those jobs are not fitness related or they don't have something to do with my chief aim or like the bigger vision of my life, I'm letting it go because I know how valuable my time is. And if things are just not congruent to like my bigger vision, it's not going to go in my calendar.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, great tool. So really prioritize it. So thank
Yeah.
you for your tips. They're very helpful. We have 4 minutes left, and I still have to announce the winner of my contest that I was holding on the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur. So I'm going to ask you this last question that I like to close with my interviewers. And that is actually, you've been in the group, so you know that I introduced something called the TTD, which is the top to do, and it has lots to do with, you know, our calendars and really being specific with our goals and our tasks. And with our top to do, there's a top to do for today and a top to do for the week and, you know, monthly, quarterly. But I would like to know from you, what is your top to do, your TTD for 2015?
Oh, my top to do. Really, my top to do that comes to me was, we're talking like, can I talk about a larger goal that I had that is coming to play? It was really to walk across stage at my graduation in LA.
Mm.
Yeah, and graduate from my coaching program was like my top to do for 2015 for sure. So it was like putting in the work, knowing that I did my coaching hours to do like the credentialing needed and to have that moment with all the other incredible women in the program and like female entrepreneurs that I'm proud to call my friends, and to have that moment of celebration is definitely on my top to do for 2015.
Well, that's awesome. And it's really great that I'm able to share that with you. So I really look forward to meeting you in Los Angeles soon.
I know it's coming up soon. I'm excited. Really excited.
Yes, same here. Well, I'm going to keep you on because we just have a couple more minutes to go. But
Okay.
I would like to actually announce the winner of the contest. So, drum roll, please.
Here we go.
Here we go. The first time we actually done anything like this, so it's kind of fun.
So exciting.
So again, the contest was actually for 2 weeks of free coaching with myself. And it's really to focus on what the customer really desires to focus on. I focus on business, I focus on life, and how the people actually got to get the contest was recording a video, and really just sharing with me what it is that you were struggling with at the time. So the person that we have chosen as the winner of this contest is
Woo!
Valerie Finning.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Valerie, I know that you're actually here, or at least you were at some point, and you were asking a question. And I am so excited to be able to work with you and, you know, really get to work on the goals that you desired. I won't do it because it was sent privately, but I'm really excited to work with you. I will be in contact with you soon, and we can get started at a time that's convenient for both of us. And I really look forward to being with you for the next weeks. So watch for my message soon.
Yeah, congratulations, girlfriend. That's exciting.
Very cool. And Julia, I want to really thank you for joining us. I know it was a little bit late, but I think the timing worked out perfectly.
Okay. It was my pleasure, really. Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
My pleasure. Yay! Okay, Valerie's still on. You're welcome. Very excited for you too, gal. So I'll be seeing you all in the group, and Julia is also in the group. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to type a question in there and tag Julia Evans, and she'd be happy to respond.
I would. Okay, ladies, have a beautiful day. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, bye.
All the best. Bye.